ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸੋ ਐਸਾ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਸੋ ਐਸਾ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਧਿਆਈਐ ਮਨ ਮੇਰੇ ਮਨ ਮੇਰੇ ਜੋ ਸਭਨਾ ਉੱਪਰ ਹੁਕਮ ਚਲਾਏ ਸੋ ਐਸਾ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਜਪੀਐ ਮਨ ਮੇਰੇ ਜੋ ਅੰਤੀ ਅਵਸਰ ਲਏ ਛਡਾਏ। ਬੇਨਤੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਰੀ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ, ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਜਾਪ ਮੂਲ ਮੰਤਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬਾਨ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਮ, ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਪੰਜ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਚਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬਜ਼ਾਦੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਨਾਲ ਹਾਜ਼ਰੀ ਭਰਨ। ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਵੀਰ ਰੋਬਿੰਦ ਦੀ ਯਾਦ 'ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ, ਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕਰੀਏ, ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਲ ਬਖਸ਼ਣ। ਕੋਈ ਰਸਨਾ ਵਾਂਝੀ ਨਾ ਰਹੇ, ਸਾਰੇ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰੋ ਜੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ। ਸਾਰੇ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ। ਸਾਰੇ ਬੋਲੋ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਸਾਰੇ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ। ਸਾਰੇ ਜਪੋ ਜੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਸਾਰੇ ਜਪੋ ਜੀ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਜਹ ਮਾਤ ਪਿਤਾ ਸੁਤ ਨੀਤ ਨ ਪਾਈ ਮਨ ਊਹਾ ਨਾਮ ਤੇਰੇ ਸੰਗ ਸਹਾਈ ਜਹ ਮਹਾਪਿਆਨ ਦੂਤ ਜਮ ਦਲੈ ਤਹ ਕੇਵਲ ਨਾਮ ਸੰਗ ਤੇਰੇ ਚੱਲੈ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਜਹ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਹੋਵੇ ਅਤ ਭਾਰੀ ਹਰ ਕੋ ਨਾਮ ਖਿਨ ਮਾਹੇ ਉਧਾਰੀ ਅਨਕ ਪੁਨੈ ਚਰਨ ਕਰਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਤਰੈ ਹਰ ਕੋ ਨਾਮ ਕੋਟ ਪਾਪ ਪਰ ਹਰੈ ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਨਾਮ ਜਪੋ ਮਨ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਨਕ ਪਾਵੋ ਸੁਖ ਧਨੇਰੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਸਾਰੇ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸਚ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਸਚ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਸਚ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਇਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਇਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸਚ। ਅਸੈਂਬਲੀ 'ਚ ਅਸੀਂ 10 ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸਾਰੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਮਾਤਾ ਪਿਤਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਟੀਚਰ ਸਾਹਿਬਾਨ। ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਉਹ ਬੋਲਾਂਗੇ 10 ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਮ ਨਾਲ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ, ਫਿਰ 5 ਪਿਆਰੇ 4 ਸਾਹਿਬਜ਼ਾਦੇ। ਆਓ ਸਾਰੇ ਰਲ ਕੇ ਪੜ੍ਹੀਏ। ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ, ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਅੰਗਦ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ, ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ, ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਜੀ, ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ, ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਹਰਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਜੀ, ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਹਰ ਰਾਏ ਜੀ, ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਹਰਿ ਕ੍ਰਿਸ਼ਨ ਜੀ, ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਧੰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਜੀ, ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ, ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਧੰਨ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ, ਧੰਨ ਹੈ। 5 ਪਿਆਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਮ। ਭਾਈ ਦਇਆ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ, ਭਾਈ ਧਰਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ, ਭਾਈ ਹਿੰਮਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ, ਭਾਈ ਮੋਹਕਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ, ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ। 4 ਸਾਹਿਬਜ਼ਾਦਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਮ। ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ, ਬਾਬਾ ਜੁਝਾਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ, ਬਾਬਾ ਜ਼ੋਰਾਵਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ, ਬਾਬਾ ਫਤਿਹ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ। ਦੇਸ਼ਵਾਰ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦਾ ਫਰਮਾਨ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਂਝਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ, ਜੋ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਮਨੁੱਖਾ ਜਨਮ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਨੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਪੈਦਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, ਕੌਣ ਮਾਤਾ ਪਿਤਾ ਹੋਣੇ ਸਾਡੇ, ਅਤੇ ਜਨਮ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਮਰਨ ਦੀ ਤਾਰੀਖ, ਸਮਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ, ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਲਿਖੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਇਉਂ ਫਰਮਾਨ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਭਗਤ ਫਰੀਦ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਸਲੋਕਾਂ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਸਲੋਕ ਇਹੀ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਤ ਦਿਹਾੜੈ ਧਨ ਵਰੀ ਸਾਹੇ ਲਏ ਲਿਖਾਏ, ਮਲਕ ਜੇ ਕੰਨੀ ਸੁਣੀਂਦਾ ਮੂੰਹ ਦੇ ਖਾਲੇ ਆਏ। ਮੰਨ ਲਓ 56 ਸਾਲ 8 ਮਹੀਨੇ 9 ਦਿਨ 13 ਮਿੰਟ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਲਿਖੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜਨਮ ਬਾਅਦ 'ਚ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ, ਜਿਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਨੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਲਿਖਿਆ, ਮਾਤਾ ਪਿਤਾ ਬਾਅਦ 'ਚ ਡਿਸਾਈਡ ਹੋਏ, ਗਰਭ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਗਰਭ ਵਿੱਚ 9 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਬੱਚਾ ਉਹ ਬਾਅਦ ਹੀ ਸਭ ਕੁਛ ਹੋਇਆ, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉਸਦੇ ਸਵਾਸ ਲਿਖੇ ਗਏ। ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਕਿਉਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਾਂ ਗਲਤ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਾਂ ਅਨਿਆਏ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਾਂ ਬੇਇਨਸਾਫੀ ਹੋਈ? ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ। ਉਸ ਦਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਹੈ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮੰਨਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡਾ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਵੇ ਮਿੱਤਰ ਰਿਸ਼ਤੇਦਾਰ। ਸੋ ਪਾਣਾ ਮਿੱਠਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੰਨਣਾ। ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਤਤੀ ਤਵੀ 'ਤੇ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਤੇਰਾ ਕੀਆ ਮਿੱਠਾ ਲੱਗ ਹੈ ਬੜਾ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਲ, ਪਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਾਣਾ ਮੰਨਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ। ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਸੋਚੀਏ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ 56 ਸਾਲ ਮਿਲੇ ਨੇ, ਕਿਤਨਾ ਕੁਛ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਰੋਬਿਨ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਤੋਂ। ਅਸੀਂ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਭਈ ਉਹ ਬੰਦਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਵਿਛੜ ਗਿਆ, ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਨੇ ਦੇ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਉਤਨੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਦੇ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਮਿਲਣੀ। ਇਹ ਵੀ ਸੋਚੀਏ ਨਾ, ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੁਛ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਨ। ਆਓ, ਮੈਂ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਬਚਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਫਰਮਾਨ ਤਾਂ ਇਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਬੋਲਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੋਰ। ਸੋ ਆਓ ਦੇਸ਼ ਵਾ ਪੜ੍ਹੀਏ, ਪਾਣਾ ਮਿੱਠਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਮਰਨ ਦੀ ਦਾਤ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ੇ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਨਾ ਡਰੋ ਅਰਸੋਂ ਜਬ ਜਾਏ ਲਰੋਂ, ਨਿਸ਼ਚੈ ਕਰ ਆਪਣੀ ਜੀਤ ਕਰੋ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਜਮਦੂਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਦੁਸ਼ਮਣ ਜਾਣੀਏ, ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ, ਪਰ ਜੇ ਇਤਨਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਵਾਰ ਸਾਡੇ 'ਤੇ ਕੀਤਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਆਸਰੇ, ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਭਰੋਸੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਬਲ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਤੁਮਰੋ ਬਲ ਤੁਮ ਸੰਗ ਸੁਹੇਲੇ। ਔਰ ਰਲ ਕੇ ਪੜ੍ਹੀਏ। देह शिवा बर मोहे है, शुभ कर मन ते कबहूँ। सारे पार्टिसिपेट करो जी, बोलो। शुभ कर मन ते कबहूँ डरो अरसों जब जाए लरो, न डरो निश्चय कर अपनी जीत करो। हर सिख हो अपने ही मन को, लालच हो गुण तो उचरो। जब आव की औद निदान बने, हथ ही रण में तब जूझ मरो। जूझ मरो, जूझ मरो, हथ ही रण में तब जूझ मरो। बोले सो निहाल, देह शिवा बनो, शुभ कर मन ते कबहूँ न करूँ। देह शिवा बनो, देह शिवा शुभ कर मन ते कबहू ना टरो ना टरो शुभ कर मन ते कबहू ना टरो हो। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਖੜੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਖੜੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸਨ ਨਾ, ਅਤੇ ਹਰਦੀਪ ਗਾ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਹੈ, ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਸੇਵਾਦਾਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਹੋਣਾ। ਅਸੈਂਬਲੀ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਨਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ, ਜੱਫੀ ਮਾਰ ਕੇ, ਬੜੇ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ, ਬੜਾ ਆਨੰਦ ਆਇਆ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬੜਾ ਆਨੰਦ ਆਇਆ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਡਿਊਟੀ ਹੋਰ ਪਾਸੇ ਲੱਗ ਗਈ, ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਣਾ, ਅਤੇ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਾ, ਕੋਈ ਇੱਕ ਬੱਚਾ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦਾ ਅਤੇ ਮਾਂ ਬਾਪ ਬੜੇ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਉਵੇਂ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਹੈ। ਸੱਚੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ, ਸੰਗਤ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਕੀਰਤਨੀਏ ਸੰਗਤ ਤੋਂ ਕੁਛ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਆਨੰਦ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਉਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਹੈ। ਅਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਲਈ ਸੱਚਮੁੱਚ ਮੇਰਾ ਵੀਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੁਛ ਹਨ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬੜੀ ਇੰਕਰੇਜਮੈਂਟ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹਰ ਕੰਮ ਵਿੱਚ। ਸੋ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਨ, ਆਪ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਨੀ ਨੇ, ਮੈਂ 1-2 ਮਿੰਟ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵੱਧ ਲੈ ਗਿਆ, ਭੁੱਲਾਂ ਚੁੱਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਖਿਮਾ। ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ। ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਬਾਰ-ਬਾਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਸਾਰੇ ਪਹੁੰਚੋ, ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਥ ਦਿਓ, ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਬੜਾ ਸਾਥ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਹੈ। ਅਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸੇਵਾ ਦੇਣ ਦਾ ਜੋ ਮੌਕਾ ਮਿਲਿਆ, ਇਸ ਲਈ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਧੰਨ ਭਾਗ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਆਪਣੇ। ਸਾਰੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਬੁਲਾਓ ਜੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। We have a short slide show about Robinji, so please get into a position so that you can see the screen, and I request Harshdeep ji to play it. This was put together by many sevadars. They collected the pictures from of Robinji that different people had. They were all put into a central database, and then Mohanpreet Singh, he assembled them into a slideshow that we will all enjoy, and then we will move forward with our next program. This is a time of, has been a time of grief for us. We all say कि सानू वाहिगुरु दा भाना मनना चाहिदा है, but sometimes we can have difficulty with that. So to address those issues, we have here some experts on psychology, and I'm going to request Penji Nirmaljeet Kaur ji to come to the stage. Nirmaljeet ji, are you here? Please come to the stage, and I think Dr. Nathan also, I request her to come here and address all the audience as to how to cope with this traumatic event that happened.
So, sorry, my voice is going to falter a little today. This is hard for me too. पर मैं सारिਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਬੁਲਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ By training, I'm a psychiatrist, and about 2 or 3 years ago, with my very good friend Dr. Nathan, ਅਸੀਂ group ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ, which was to help people survive a sudden traumatic loss. And little did I know that ਜਦੋਂ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ that it would touch my life in so many ways. Little did I know this would be happening. Jo hoya, it was very unfortunate, and I'm sure ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ details ਪਤਾ ਹੈ. I'm not going to go into those. ਮੇਰੇ 5-6 points ਹੈਗੇ and 1-2 minutes I will try to wrap up. But if I can be of personal help to anybody here, I am here and open and willing to talk. The first thing I want to address is the children in the audience. We have a mixed audience. बच्चे हैगे हैं, सियाने भी हैगे. We have everybody here. Children experience grief very differently from adults. Some children don't even understand it. So this message is for the children, jehde bacche hege in the audience, that it's okay to feel what you're feeling, and it's okay to not feel anything. Whatever is in your heart at this moment, it's okay. Bhai Sahib ji spoke about Vaheguru's will, Pana Mannan di gal. And I want to just echo that thought that, we live in the will of Vaheguru. We live in the will of God. Bahut sari cheezein, there are many things that the human mind cannot understand or explain. Life and death and the journey beyond are some of those things. So we may never have an answer, and that is also okay. But we're all together in this journey, and that is what is important. The second thing I want to say is a sudden traumatic loss, but sudden traumatic loss can generate a range of feelings, from feeling numb to feeling angry to feeling deep grief. Sometimes they come in waves, and sometimes they settle down to a feeling of numbness. This process doesn't have a timeline. It can be a long, drawn process, and that also is okay. Whatever you feel in your heart is fine. Hold it, feel it. Do not suppress it. That's the one message. Don't push it away. Feel the feelings. If you are experiencing a lot of distress, which some people might, कई लोगों को बहुत ज़्यादा distress होगा, it's okay to step away. It's okay to take some time to take care of yourself and let that settle down. When I dealt with a similar distress in my life, मैनू किसी ने एक कहानी दसी सी that there was a man who was walking around with a coat. The coat was on his shoulders, and उस coat दी 2 pockets सीगियां, and he had some stones in that. And as we go through life, जदों असीं ज़िंदगी दे through जांदे हैं, the stones or the suffering or the pain gets heavier and heavier. So it's very important to lighten that. Lighten that in your own way. Lighten that with your community. Lighten that by doing something good for someone. by what's written up on the screen, but lighten your load. None of us can carry this full load forever. Death, pain, suffering are a fabric of our lives, just as happiness and joy are. So sharing them, experiencing them, and knowing them makes our living experience complete. Lastly, I want to say, Ardas is the most powerful way to communicate with Vaheguru. Do Ardas for yourself, do Ardas for Bhurji's soul, do it for his family. That's one way, and we can reach out to the higher power. I want to also introduce my very good friend, Dr. Kalpana Nathan, who came here to help us all with this process. She is a psychiatrist. बहुत कुछ मैं उन्हें दे बारे च कह सकदी हां, but I'm just going to introduce her as my friend. So here's Dr. Nathan.
My heart goes out to all of you, to the community, to the families, to have suffered such a great loss. So I was happy to come with Dr. Dami. It's been a privilege to know her, and I have great respect for her. We did work together on that loss for the community. We did an outreach group some years ago. So we both went through the process of helping people together. What I want to say is really echo some of the things she has said, that there's no right or wrong way to do this. And the grief process could take a very long time. And I think at this point, it's so early, and most of you probably, you're in the stage of shock, right? So you may not be feeling anything, and that is okay as well. The main point I wanted to make was you have an amazing community. Great. It's wonderful to see you all come together to celebrate his life and to support each other as you go through this grief process. And for the children especially, I want to say it's wonderful that your parents bring you here, and together you can support one another. In the process of traumatic loss, I think the biggest thing is isolation, and you're feeling alone and you can't share. So you have that ability to share as a community. I also want to say what an amazing psychiatrist Dr. Dami is. So you do have that support for you, for your community. I've known her for a number of years, and she has done amazing work in the community. She's reached out and touched lives in a remarkable way. So it's a privilege for you all to have her here in the community and be available to you. And through her, I'm happy to assist in any way that we can. And it's very, very early again, and I think it's great that you could come together as a community, but the process may take a very long time, and there is no timeline, as she said. The thing that we learned when we did this group together a few years ago was, even in these amazing, the human beings are amazing in their ability to, get through these very, very difficult things in life. When something like this happens, we don't think we'll have the strength to go through that. And I think the two things that help you are your faith, and I think that's a wonderful thing that you're all here. The second thing is your community, that you're here to support one another. So even when the going gets tough, you have each other to support. I think those are the main things I wanted to say. If there's anything else I can do to help, I'm happy to reach out and volunteer at any time.
Just wanted to say, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. We are really fortunate that we have in our community so much support available for this kinds of issues. And next I'm going to invite Sardarni Harbir Patia to come here. She is the cultural counselor, commissioner in the Santa Clara County. So she's gonna introduce more resources to you.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. With me, I also have Dr. Gurpreet Padam. So could you please come up? And also in the audience, we have Manpreet Kaur. She's also a trained, where is she? There she is, please, thank you. Could you come up? So what we want to do today, and I will say this both in English and Punjabi, is that we want to talk about our goal today and what we hope to achieve together. By first of all, starting out with what Manmohan Uncle said about the will of God. Without me, I'm not here to preach. I'm here to really just kind of develop on that. When we did Nam Simran together, I'm sure you must have felt the connectivity we shared. Our voice becomes one frequency. Whether you sing in the same pitch or a higher pitch, we feel something connecting through our heart. When we do Nam Simran, just as Manmohan Singh Uncle told us right now, that connection, that connectivity, ਨਾਲ ਗਾ ਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਹੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਨਾਲ one ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋ, ਇੱਕ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋ, ਔਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਸੰਗਤ ਬਣ ਗਈ ਸੀ। ਔਰ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਅੱਜ। ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਲੋਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਕੋਲ ਸੀ ਰੁਬਿੰਦਰ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ, ਕੋਈ ਲੋਕ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਮਿਲੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ, ਕੋਈ ਲੋਕ ਕੁਝ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। That's completely okay. Sab di apni journey hai. That's really important that we all have our own journey. And more than that, we have our own way of dealing with the world that's around us. And especially for the kids and the parents. But I'll start with the kids. Some of you might not understand why are we here together. And that's okay too. But what's more important as we understand what does it mean to be strong? Because as a community, we have this idea that strength is not showing how you feel. That is not strength. Our gurus didn't make us afraid. They gave us courage to deal with the world that we live in. And that courage is also about taking responsibility about what we're going through. So if that means someone needs to cry, they should cry. Strength is in crying. Strength is in being silent if that's what you need. Strength is giving someone a hug if that's what you feel. But what's really important is recognizing that we as one Sangat and we as individuals have our own ways of experiencing loss. Some people may not have a feeling of loss. They may feel nothing. That's okay. Some may feel loss, some may not feel loss. What you may understand is that you lost something like a book. Some may feel like I've lost my friend. Some may feel I've lost my part of my heart. Each of us will experience something different. That's really important, number one. Number two, you may not know what you feel. Can anybody tell me if they've ever felt that way? Can you just raise your hand if you have sometimes go and you don't know what you feel, but you feel something? Yeah. Sometimes you are doing something and you all of a sudden get upset, but you don't know why. Does that happen to anybody? Yeah. Sometimes you're sitting with your friend and you suddenly get mad because he said something and you don't know why. Did you ever feel like, well, you don't know why you got angry? Right? Yeah. So each of us has a different way of dealing with things. But there's two sides to that. She's like my sister, but she doesn't know what's in my head. So I may be crying or I may scream at her, but I also need her to be kind to me and realize that I may be going through something. Because for some time now, you may not be aware that you may be feeling something and it may suddenly surprise you. But the rest of us have to be there to help, because that's what we are as a Sangat. So we have to forgive each other. We have to say, it's okay. This is not about me. Maybe she's going through something. Maybe he's going through something. There's one more feeling I want to talk to you about. You may have other things come out that you maybe don't have to do with Robinder Virji. But today, we're going to make sure he lives on by us taking responsibility and taking interest in helping ourselves. Maybe today, I remember something else that makes me upset. I feel something else and that makes me happy, sad, angry, confused. We want you to be okay with that. We want to tell you, you will feel things about him, about yourself, about each other, with these experiences that you're having in the sense of loss with him. So I want to give opportunity for us to get into more specifics, but I wanted to let you know a few things that really sometimes we are not aware of the various emotions. And I think Nirmaljeet Manji discussed it a bit, and Manpreet has some really great help tools as well. Sometimes the first thing you feel shock. Sometimes you're sad. Sometimes you're angry. Sometimes you feel guilt. कि मैं कुछ गलत कीता है, मैं कुछ नहीं, मैं रोकिया नहीं, मैं उन्होंने यह चीज़ कह नहीं सकी, और मैं और कर सकती सी. That's called guilt. Anxiety. कुछ हो जाएगा, मैं टेंशन हो रही है अंदरों. Anxiety. Physically, you may feel tired. Physically, you may feel, I don't want to eat. Maybe you don't know what you need. Maybe you don't want to sleep. These are all different feelings we have when we have a sense of loss. First, we may not know, and that's okay. But once we become aware, it's our responsibility to try to do something about it. And today is just one way for us to help get that started. So I'm going to pass it off to Gurpreet. She was one of the founders of Sikh Family Center, who is a resource for us as a community. And we're going to give you some tools, and we want to be here for you, because this is not today only. This may go on next week. This may go on next month, that you're feeling things that you weren't aware of. So asi sari sangat milke, we'll get through this. That is strength. Weakness is hiding it. That's not who we are. Strength is in dealing with it and showing it. So one more time, I just want to point out who's here. Manpreet Kaur is here. Could you stand up one more time, Manpreet? I'm sorry. Okay. Nirmaljeet Dhami. Dr. Nathan. And we may have other counselors that may also be available. And we are here as well. So we would like to first tell you that in case you do not want to come up and talk, you are welcome to go directly talk to the 4 people we've mentioned. So you do not have to come up here if you don't wish to, number 1. Number 2, you may wish to deal with it differently. Gurpreet and her family have arranged a board to express your feelings and send a message to Robinder Virji, so others can read it also and feel maybe what you feel. You can draw cards. Maybe you can just write a letter to him and keep it to yourself and give it to one of us. So there's a lot of ways today, okay? So now please let me introduce Dr. Gurpreet Padam, and she will talk to you about the Sikh Family Center and what we're going to do.
Thank you. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So you've heard everyone here. You remember our faces. There are a few more community physicians here that are your resources. If you see us in the hall, if and there's something you want to talk about, you just need some confidential one-to-one talking, come to us. And if we cannot help you directly, we'll find somebody who can help you. And Sikh Family Center, we have a national helpline, and we can email that phone number to you and the website to you later, but we do have flyers in the back, on the back table, about the natural process of when we go through something really hard and heavy like this. There's grief, there's sadness, there's depression, there's anxiety, there's feelings of guilt, and sometimes you don't know how to get better. And as a community, we are providing those resources so that we can all be here for each other. And, as Dr. Nirmaljeet was telling you a story about the stones in the pocket, I also look at it as, when you see a bowl full of prasad, everyone knows what prasad looks like when it's out here, bowl full, right? And when we share that prasad with each other, we're sharing our happiness and our joy with each other. And more you share it, the bowl gets lighter and lighter. And that's how we should think of our sharing and our feelings, that by sharing, you're lightening that load that you have. And there's several ways of doing that. You have a phone number to call us so we can connect you with somebody. We have a website with information. We have lots of flyers here. If we run out, we'll make more copies on for parents, how to support children after tragedy, on grief and community healing, on some coping skills, survival skills. So please take a flyer if you think it's something that will benefit you. And also about the posters that are up there. When you express your feelings or you write a letter, that is going to be public. People are going to see it. If you want it to be private, just let us know. We'll put it aside, and Khalsa School and Pushpinder Penji can find a place to put it where your privacy can be respected, and that your memory is there preserved for you. Did I miss anything? Okay. So, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. If you need anything, please come up to us, and we'll connect you with someone who can help you.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you, Harbir Ji. Thank you, Dr. Padam, for all the resources you're offering to us. I'm sure many in the Sangat will need it and take benefit from that. I next want to introduce Dr. Meeka Singh. She is the Chief Psychiatrist for the Santa Clara County. So she also has a lot of experience dealing with these things. So she's going to share her thoughts and resources with you.
I'm Meeka Singh. I'm a licensed psychologist. I've been doing this work for over 25 years, and I am also the Director of Behavioral Health at Asian Americans for Community Involvement in Santa Clara County. First of all, my deepest condolences. I also wanted to recognize the strength and resilience in the room and the wealth of resources and support that you all have. Just to echo, there's no wrong way to react to grief. Everyone has a different way of managing and handling. And also sometimes when we have a tragic accident that happens, a tragic loss that happens, we have feelings not only about that incident, but it might trigger other loss that we've had in our past as well. So it's important to be aware of all of this, as other speakers have been sharing. I've also brought some resources to share with all of you that describe about the grief process and some worksheets. So for those folks that want to use the poster, that's great. There's personal worksheets and letters that you can do as well that will be outside. And I also wanted to offer myself as a resource for anyone that needs to speak. And as well, I'm happy to connect you to other resources in the community as necessary.